I recently got a house for a client in one of these Lagos state-owned housing estates. After the purchase, the client raised some concerns after realizing the expected title to be a deed of sublease. She kept asking why it's not a certificate of occupancy. So first fact I'd like to establish here today is that both the deed of sublease and the certificate of occupancy are recognized property titles as far as Lagos real estate is concerned. In fact, they are both considered root titles. You see, when we talk about the concept of title, which is what most of us understand to be only certificate of occupancy, it is essentially a lease from the government, usually for 99 years. That means even if you have a certificate of occupancy, you are essentially leasing from the government. Now, in the case of this government developed estate, like many of these Lagos housing estates, the land is owned by the Lagos state government. So when the government allocates these properties, they do so under a head lease. So for example, the government might grant a statutory right of occupancy to the housing corporation for 99 years, which also means the certificate of occupancy. So when you buy a property in that estate, what you receive is typically a deed of sublease, which is derived from that head lease. So in essence, that deed of sublease you get is equivalent to a certificate of occupancy. Now, some people might still wonder if there's still a need for the governor's consent. The good news here is that if you're buying directly from the government or the housing corporation, that consent is already embedded in the deed of sublease title you're getting. But if you're buying from a secondary seller, you need to get the governor's consent to validate the transfer of sublease to you. In simple terms, if you buy directly from the government, the deed of sublease is your title. But if you are a secondary buyer buying from an ROT or a subleasee, you must then get a governor's consent to validate the transfer of that sublease to you.